Welcome to Rauta's Underground Trio. Once again, we have three different bands of three different styles, and two of them are from Finland, one of them is from Italy. First, in alphabetical order, and then we'll dive into the world of getting them worst to best, according to my own opinion. Once again, feel free to disagree. First, we have this alternative metal band from Italy called 81 Decibels or DB, and this is their new album Nostos. Comes with a nice looking digipack. Then we have a very stripped down, like the opposite of that, CDR with no even booklet, just a cover called Fallath. This is 90 minutes of black metal, a demo compilation. And last but not least, we have Regere Sinister and Moonfall Split from 2021, released back then on vinyl, now on CD, Eerie Realms of Hell. This is Finnish black metal with two different bands. Now, worst to best, feel free to guess the right order. First we'll get to Italy, saying, Buongiorno, let's have this new album here, yes, very nice, pizza pasta. Okay, let's not do that. So this comes with a rather nice looking digipack. I gotta say I like the looks and I like the use of colors because this is not your typical extreme metal release, because it's not extreme metal, I guess, but what is interesting is that sometimes the use of different colors and styles is very, very refreshing. But it fits this music quite well. Alternative metal with pointers towards groove metal and stuff is the name of the game here. Production-wise, very solid. All the instruments and vocals, very well balanced. There is this good production feeling that gives you like, these guys know what they're doing and they're doing it well. When it comes to music, however, this is a little bit of hit and miss for me. First of all, I'm not exactly a big fan of alternative metal. The point here is it's too often some kind of a, indie pop kind of a feeling, but with metal instruments. And when you have this groove metal factor, which is not groovy, not to mention thrashy enough, it's almost like you are picking the best items from this here and there, making this rather mixed bag of goodies. Lots of potential with this band, but I feel it's kind of too much of a hybrid for its own good. To which kind of audience this would be pleasing, I do not honestly know. Because I think for, new metal fanatics, no, it's not exactly that. It's just too alternative metal. And when it goes to a little bit groove metal side, it doesn't probably feel too, heavy and all that stuff enough. After all, you have heavier bands and more aggressive bands for that. Maybe this is actually the entry-level stuff for people that are like, I want to know a little bit more heavier stuff than, indie rock or whatever. I want to go a little bit metal, but just a little bit. And that's your rock. Okay, we have this 81 decibels for you. It's slightly metallic, but still kind of a rock and rollish, but being very modern and all that stuff. So around indie rock, alternative metal with a little bit of grooviness in the mix. Potential, release, given that this band has only a few albums out, but somehow making this rather mediocrity in my opinion. But people who are more into this style probably like it a lot more. Then black metal from Finland with two bands, and this is Beherit Worship. Originally released by two demo-level bands, meaning out that neither of the bands here, Moonfall nor Regere Sinister, had anything else but demo-level stuff out when this came out. But now both of these bands actually have their first albums out, and they have as such taken steps forward. Two members per band, I mean that they are very much focused on rather simplistic stuff, nothing too technical, nothing too fancy, just old school Beherit Worship, and roughly taking to the era of, drawing down the moon and stuff. Anyway, the early years of Beherit. So obviously you can expect quite a primitive pounding, black metal, simplistic riffs, homemade recording sound, thinking of the 4-tracker era and all that stuff. Vocals on the Moonfall side is more like whispering stuff with occasional grunting and all that stuff, whereas Regere Sinister is more, I guess, your typical black metal, not super raw or anything, more in a way held back. Sinister has more bass-driven sound, bass and drums kind of a thing, where the guitars are not that much important. That's how I feel about it anyway. Whereas, Moonfall is a little bit more traditional Beherit like of style. So Sinister is maybe more original which one is better, hard to tell, because in my opinion they're very, very comparable in terms of quality and interest. However, both still have this demo level feeling to it. Some kind of a nice originality and all that stuff, but you know, something also magical is missing. You don't hear the Gates of Nanna kind of memorable tracks here either, so this could be seen as a minus. But if you're a big Beherit fan, I mean, if you really, really love your old Beherit, there's no reason why not to check this one out. And if you don't have a vinyl player, but you would love to have a copy of this particular release, this good news is, now it's finally out on CD 4 years later than the original one. Then, in my opinion, the best of the pile, Fallath from my home city Turku, now as a 3-people band. Used to be a solo project as far as I could understand, a couple of years later. And originally they did one demo with 2 tracks, but how do you make a compilation with 6 tracks if there is only this 2-track demo, which is right here in the beginning? Now, I don't know. The band hasn't listed it on Metal Archive site nor Bandcamp site, so maybe those 4 other tracks are just unreleased ones, or maybe they are something that came out so sneakily that they never made their way to the Metal Archive site nor their own Bandcamp. But what can we tell about this album covers other side is that there are 3 guys now, not just this main guy. And here is pretty much all the information you have. No lyrics whatsoever. And Pro CDR is the name of the game. Why CD player had a little bit trouble playing this. Would play it every now and then, but not all the time. So consider that if you have an older CD player. Musically speaking, this is more what I would describe so-called green metal, meaning it's a little bit folky and more on the nature side of thing. So if you're getting a little bit Ulver vibes here by this description or feel, yeah, you're not the only one. I sent my written review to the main guy of the band, and he pretty much confirmed what I had in the back of my head, saying there is some Ulver in the mix, and he pretty much confirmed it. Now, musically, this is actually a little bit different than your early Ulver, meaning it's kind of a raw sounding, maybe a little bit weak sounding black metal with some folkier melodies and very much into the nature themes. Now, that is not obviously neither a negative or positive thing, just a neutral statement, but separates the band from the more evil sounding and aggressive sounding black metal bands, which are more violent in terms of music. This is more towards the more, you know, folkier, more melodic stuff, even if the production is a little bit lo-fi like. Musically, quite a bit potential, but I would definitely say that this needs more powerful production, where especially those melodies would be more enforced, you know, better strength, better punch, and all that stuff. Musically, the music is pretty good. I mean, definitely showing potential, and maybe it would get better over time. There's an album now in the making, I was told. When it comes to the vocals, they're kind of a screamy side of things, and in my opinion, pretty good. So far, nothing outstanding, nothing exactly new or stuff like that, but pretty cool in my opinion, and that's what makes this best of the pile. Hardly, however, better than the split I just mentioned, but since I have to put them some kind of order, there it is. Now, obviously, all these bands are in the description box with their respective links, so if I got you interested in some of the bands, go take a look, go take a listen, and find the interesting ones according to your own opinion. My opinion is worth shit, as you always know, so don't care what I say. Give the music a chance, and if you like it, go buy it. You know the drill. Now off you go. See you soon with more reviews coming your way. Take care.